Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Business List, your source for stories inside the party, across the country, and around the world. We are LP Alliance, an inter-caucus coalition, rebuilding and revolutionizing the Libertarian Party, revolutionizing the liberty movement. This is what happens when I'm off stream for like a week. I just forget introductions for things. Kyle's muted. Everything is chaos. My name is Amanda Griffiths.
Glitching again.
I am robo glitching.
Yeah, we sent her for updates last week, but looks like we're gonna need a factory reset. I think it's more serious than we thought.
Pretty much. Also, my glasses are foggy. I'm joined by Rose Leatherman. I'm joined by Jake Porter. I'm not joined by Kyle Davis. He's just here. Everyone, how are you? While I clean my glasses.
Pretty good. I wish you hadn't been late.
Why are you so quiet?
Doing great.
Why is Kyle always quiet?
I said that I'm pretty good, but I don't understand why you were so late.
You were late. You were talking with me on the phone, and I told you to get in the stream because you were late.
I was already in the stream.
So
I got in at 7:59, and then it was delayed another 5 minutes, which was helpful.
Rose was on time. We are bringing shame to Rose, and Rose, I apologize for Kyle and his problematicness. Kyle's very excited because he's SWFing me right now, and he has the same Garmin as I do. So,
what?
Garmin? You have the same Garmin.
Oh. I don't even know what SWF is.
Garmin.
Technically, mine's the newer one.
Fine, whatever. All right.
Like version 5, and I'm at 8.
Yeah, because I'm frugal, unlike you.
They were out of the 5s.
All right. I already stipulated that I was going to need help with the stream because I have not been online for the past couple of days, but I heard that LPNH got censored a few days ago, and that was insane. There's so much going on in the actual LNC business list. There are people throwing tantrums. There are people...
I mean, that's normal, but yeah. Sometimes it's a slightly different person. The past couple of weeks, it's been pretty much one person.
We have a Region Alt threatening to murder Jake Porter.
Is that actually happening? What's going on, Jake?
I didn't hear this one. This is news to me.
Oh, I don't know. I take it that serious. Austin Martin has threatened to remove socialists.
We have a serious infiltrator problem. Apparently, we have this leftist infiltration problem.
That's what I hear.
He has threatened to remove socialists by force from the party with prejudice. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. It appears that he can't actually travel to the mainland without having to take money from the Joint Fundraising Committee anyway. So I'm not all that concerned about it.
This is indeed Austin Martin, who has evidently been threatening people, threatening the leftists on the LNC, which is replete with leftists, as we all know.
Yeah, we're leftists. We're also DNC operatives, and we're also feds. We're a lot of different things.
Oh, also, remember, we're also apparently MC plants looking to destroy the LP harder than the MC ever did.
Oh, yeah. No, we're simultaneously radical leftists trying to take over and undermine the Libertarian Party. But also, yeah, we're far right. We're part of an operation by the far right that wants to turn the Libertarian Party into something even worse than what the Mises Caucus wanted.
I don't think I've been called far right in ages. So I just want to, pat myself.
You're doing it.
You were in the same post I was this last week.
Oh, I was going to say, you're libertarianing wrong if you're not getting called far left and far right on the same day.
I know. Well, we did the solidarity stream, so we got called far leftist, which is a thing. So Samuel Bowler, this was on the 12th of September. Samuel Bowler indeed made a motion to censure the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. Whereas the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire has published posts on social media depicting a Jewish person piloting a plane in connection to the September 11th attacks and the use of homophobic slurs, which reasonable people would consider anti-Semitic and bigoted. Whereas this behavior diminishes the Libertarian Party's image on the national stage, damaging not only our reputation, but also our ability to grow. Whereas a previous attempt to censure was dismissed, yet the pattern of behavior has only escalated. True. Be it therefore resolved that the Libertarian National Committee censures the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire for its despicable conduct and invites them to disaffiliate and cease its use of the Libertarian Party name so as to allow another group more in line with the values of this party to petition for affiliation. in response to this, Ben Weir, chair of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, had many, many feelings and expressed them.
They were very big.
They were very big feelings.
Very big feelings.
Expressed them in a song that you can find on my social media on X page, but also expressed them in an email response where the first letters of every line spelled out "eat my ass." Sam Bowler responded to that with an email where the first letters of every line spelled out "show some class." This went on until finally there was indeed a passing vote for the censure, with Nebel voting yes, Redpath voting yes, Dar voting yes, Nikayla voting yes, Matt Johnson stating yes, but his vote did not count. Boss abstained, initially voted no, then abstained. Trendelin Trendelin from Region 4, Trendelin Halsey, was
Formerly
given the opportunity, yes, to vote as her last parting shot. She voted yes. Austin Martin abstained. Aaron Lamb deferred to his alternate. Andrew Chatterton and Otto Dassing voted no. Pat Ford voted no, which meant that the count was 9 yes, 4 no, 2 abstentions, and 2 did not vote. So the motion to censure the New Hampshire affiliate passed. All right. How do we feel about this?
Well, next step is to write a really, really meanly worded resolution against them, I think.
Yeah.
In actuality, like, okay, we went from within the course of maybe a month or two, going from like not even previous attempt to censure them didn't even get heard, and now a motion to censure them passed. So it does show some improvement. We'll see if this goes anywhere, because a censure is it is the first step towards taking further action. But if it just ends with the censure, then yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, Joe says it matters exactly 0. I feel similarly.
On its own, yes.
I think it is internal party virtue signaling. Kyle, what are you going to say?
So
it needs to be followed
on the surface, I agree.
Yeah.
But our bylaws are shit as far as actually getting rid of an affiliate or anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a good mechanism to do it in the bylaws, which is nonsense in and of itself. They heard me talking and they just wanted to gob with me.
Pretty much.
I agree. This is effectively New Hampshire on a pip. For those who are somehow unaware of pips, performance
nothing's going to happen if they don't Like, nothing is going to happen if they fail to
I mean, potentially. It. I do think Ken's right that the practical outcome is that it signals to certain donors the party is getting serious again and working to reestablish lines of communication. I think that's probably true. You know, all of us know that the LNC is kind of toothless on this thing, but the fact that the LNC has called even to wag their finger at them suggests that they're a little less stupid than they were in February. So,
yeah, I think it shows that they're just getting fed up. This doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. Next they can write a cease and desist letter if they really want to. It's not going to change anything at all. They can talk about all kinds of suing people or whatever they want. They're not really going to take any action, I don't think, because I don't think there's much they can do other than disaffiliation, and they don't yet have the votes for that. But it does show they are getting fed up with this. They're getting fed up with that to not get any work done. They're trying to get work done and they can't get anything done. It's just going to be seen by the discussion list. There are certain people that are just attempting to make sure that the board is as ineffective as possible. And I think that's their entire goal.
Right. It's almost like someone is trying to ensure that no one can actually get anything done on this board while calling everyone feds. Now, funnily enough, you know who has in the past tried to infiltrate organizations and prevent anything from getting done by calling everyone else feds?
Angela McArdle.
I thought she did have that job in the Trump administration.
It's like part of the COINTELPRO tactics.
There we go. And yet she is not on the Trump administration's payroll. She's doing this for free, everyone. And maybe, possibly. We don't know.
She could be on their payroll. It's just not in the way she told us it was going to be.
The thing is, and so in Stephen Nikayla's response where he voted aye on the censure, he said that this was symbolic, right? Because it was showing to outsiders externally, it was saying that there was distance between the Libertarian Party and the behavior of the New Hampshire affiliate chapter, what have you. That's all well and good if the business list went to people outside the Libertarian Party, and good heavens, who would read such a thing unless they were making a reality show. But what? I read it because I'm weird. But
she would read it.
It doesn't do anything. There's no bearing to it. Nobody knows that LPNH was censured. I don't approve of censure because I think it's a whole lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. That's not even a whole lot of sound. It's not particularly furious either. It's just a finger wagging. It signifies nothing. It is nothing. I am pro disaffiliation. I know some other people are not, but there needs to be a line that is drawn. We have the privilege, we have the right of free association, and we should be able to distance ourselves from people who do not associate with our principles. And we need to be able to make that statement in terms of those people with whom we associate. Yeah, I agree with Joe.
I mean,
rarely.
I feel like for any other organization, this would be a no-brainer. Except Libertarian Party's bylaws were never designed to deal with rogue affiliates, apparently.
Also,
I feel like if any other organization you join and then you form an affiliate, you sign an affiliate agreement with the national organization and you start putting out messaging that's directly contrary to the principles that you agreed that you were going to try to uphold.
Yep.
Yeah. Most organizations would kick out people like that, except the Libertarian Party bylaws are so poorly written that there's no mechanism for dealing with people or affiliate parties that
we are
doing this.
Working on changing that. But go on, Kyle.
Right.
In one of the major libertarian discords that's out there right now, there was an argument this week about the idea that we can't push people away for having different ideals because that means we're not letting people be themselves in the way they're thinking.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've heard that a million
Then
times.
let's let all the Marxist-Leninists in.
Oh, you're censoring. Okay. I'm sorry. Imagine if you join like an explicitly Christian organization and then you constantly promote the Church of Satan or something. And like, would it really like, and then you start crying that they're censoring you and they are violating your free speech rights if they decide, you know what, I don't think you're the right fit to be representing our organization. Like, this is ridiculous. No, this is the Libertarian Party. If you're going to carry out message, if you're going to message in such a way that you are directly at odds with libertarian principles, you probably should not be representing the Libertarian Party.
The thing is, too, that many libertarians are very conflict averse and confrontation averse, and this is one of their greatest weaknesses. So that because, again, there's this sense of very, very altruistic individualism where it's like, well, it's not my business. I'm going to let the person do whatever they want to do. It's not my business. I'm not going to get involved. Right. So that they let themselves be walked all over. They watch other people get walked all over, and they say, well, I have no right to do anything about it. This is the type of libertarianism that I think is a false libertarianism, that conflict-averse, confrontation-averse libertarianism. You should be able to stand up for people's rights. Being a libertarian means being a libertarian for everyone, not just the people that you like, but what that comes with is the right to free association. I'm a libertarian for LPNH, but I'm also a libertarian for the Libertarian Party, and that means that the Libertarian Party can distance itself from and disaffiliate LPNH while still also supporting their right to say whatever they want to say.
Right. If they want to have neo-Nazis give talks at their tent at PorcFest, that is their right. However, we do not need to tolerate them as part of our organization. They can be their own thing. Okay, they like to brag about how they're the most effective affiliate ever. Okay, they can go off and do their own thing in their state. They don't need to be representing us.
Especially if they think that the LP is an overall negative, that the LP isn't doing the right things, and that our methodology.
Well,
exactly. Go off and do whatever it is you think.
I know everyone's read my work on libertine reactionaries and Libertarian Party, but just in case people haven't, or just in case they want a refresher, I talked about this, where the entire idea is that there is a desire to use the libertarian brand, right, in order to get people to come into the affiliate pay dues money, and then LPNH profits by using LP branding, even though LPNH doesn't particularly care about the success of LP National, even disdains the idea of LP National's success, but they're riding off of the coattails of the branding. So they're not going to let that go willingly.
At best. At worst, they're trying to tank the image of the Libertarian Party.
They could be, but I think they like what they're doing. I think they believe that what they're doing is correct.
Right. It gets eyes on our social media accounts, and that's the same thing as being successful.
Yes. Engagement.
And they were so effective that both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris easily won the state.
Yeah. Yeah. We've just.
I mean, I like what the
Very
Free
effective.
State Project does. It's a good idea, but I feel like, I mean, they're kind of their own thing with some overlap, but it's.
They're like, we're going to keep the Democrats out. Well, the Democrats already control their state.
Kyle was telling me before we went on that he has very strong feelings about the ICE facility shooting. So, Kyle, why don't you talk about the very, very serious. Oh my gosh, he ran away. He ran away. Rose also had strong feelings about the ICE facility shooting, or at least you said that you'd want.
It was so strong that he had to go off and he had to go off by himself for a moment to gather his feelings about the ICE facility shooting.
Kyle, what happened? Where are you? Are you with us?
ICE got him.
Well, we don't have to go, so you know.
I think ICE might have gotten him.
Yeah.
That's not Kyle.
I told you guys earlier.
This is not
I told you guys
Kyle.
earlier that there's storming here. Sure enough, something must have taken power down. So I'm in the darkness.
Yeah, you do look like you're in the darkness. Strangely, I can see the outline of your very, very Trotsky-shaped head right there. That is a perfectly round, orange-shaped, tomato-y head. All right.
How do you do, fellow businesses people? I am not an ICE agent.
Yes. Kyle.
Fuck off, Fed. We know who you are.
Kyle, stop being muted and tell us about the ICE shooting. Just run away.
Okay. Well, I can't leave. Like the phone is going to automatically it's not going to silence the sound, so you're going to be able to hear yourselves through me. So I've got to be a little careful around it. So in Dallas, Texas, a shooter indiscriminately took shots into an ICE facility, hitting only migrants. Not a single ICE officer was hit. One of the migrants has passed away, and the other two are injured, and they're being treated. It seems like this person is just a lunatic. There's a bunch of information going around from the government that they're far left extremist, blah, 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 blah. But it seems to be more like just a crazy person looking to stir shit.
So a far left extremist opened fire and shot 3 migrants.
So he had to. He made sure to write anti-ICE on the bullets. So
that clears it up.
Everyone would know he was anti-ICE and not anti-immigrant, right?
That's good.
Because when I'm going to do something that's not exactly in accordance with the law, I always write it down in multiple places. Like I write a manifesto about it and leave it in a location where it's easily discovered. Then I just write down what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just so that anyone who finds anything I leave behind will know what I was doing and know they'll know what I'm against.
I get the manifesto thing. I do, because you want people to know why you're doing a thing, especially if you think there's a chance that you might be taken out, right?
I don't think anyone actually writes manifestos in the real world.
No, they write on bullets.
Okay, thanks, Rose. That was really insulting.
Memes on bullets.
I absolutely.
This is how we know Amanda's not a real person.
I'm not, but I write manifestos.
People do not write manifestos.
If they do, they're going to have ChatGPT write their manifesto for them.
I have never used ChatGPT, and I write tons of manifestos. I write them all the time. I don't even do anything about it. I just write the manifestos. I write a manifesto every day before breakfast. That's.
You know who else did that? The Unabomber.
But there was really only one major Unabomber manifesto, and I'm trying to cast a broad net here. Yes, memes are manifestos now. This is the thing. I think that there's so much desire to pin any political action and any act of, we would call it political violence. And I think that's the problem, is we're calling it political violence. We assume that the motive must be innately political rather than just insane. Absolutely insane. So I think this is what we're seeing, that sometimes when people do things and it seems to be counterintuitive, it seems to be fitting a round hole or a square peg into a round hole into whatever. It seems to be doing that. There is a tendency to want to say, okay, well, they were far left, they were far right. But in reality, it's just that the person was crazy. And I think more and more the person is either crazy or the person is trying to troll or the person is trying to do some nihilistic meme.
The person was crazy and also someone found them.
What?
The audience should have taken from this at this point that Amanda's bad at shapes.
I am very bad at shapes. We already knew that.
We can hear Kyle, but we can't see him.
Kyle
Correct.
is the voice
Since
of God.
I was just a floating face with no actual picture, I hid my thing so that people can see you guys more better, but you can still hear me. I'm just
makes it so much weirder because now you're just a disembodied voice, and it's freaking me out.
I'm just in your head.
I knew it was only a matter of time. I was Kyle.
Yeah, this
all
is the
along.
super insidious thing I've been working on, Rose. That's worse than the MC. I intend to just live on in everyone else's head.
Thank you, Free, for paying extra to hide Kyle. I very much appreciate it.
Oh, Kyle now.
It's terrifying. So yeah, political violence, crazy person.
Ignore me. I'm having an existential crisis over here.
That's fine. Yeah, first Rose was me, and then I was Rose, and then now we're all Kyle, and I'm very confused about who I am really, and who we all are. Yeah, political extremism. Government is pretending this person's a leftist. Government's not pretending this person is a leftist. What are people's craziest theories? Let's hear them.
I don't know. I will say that Kash Patel, though, has to go out there and immediately go on social media and here's the evidence.
He gets so excited.
And it's not going to be too. It's not going to be too far. Whenever cases get thrown out and murderers go free because Kash Patel is just releasing all the stuff that he finds, like, oh, here at the murder scene, we're going to take pictures of this, and I got to put this on X immediately. That's the craziest thing about all this to me, that they don't, it used to be you'd have press conferences and everything, and now these guys just go on Twitter. Donald Trump goes on Fox News, just starting to tell all kinds of stories that may or may not be correct.
He also really rants on whatever the name of his Twitter clone platform is.
Oh yeah, Truth Social.
I don't think I've ever made it all the way through a Trump tweet or whatever they call them on Truth Social. I just my brain just shuts down a third of the way through at most.
They're not.
All
engaging.
I can ever hear is a bunch of high pitched screeching when I try to read them. It's really weird.
It's the nails in the chalkboard inside your mind.
Mm-hmm. It's Kyle.
Old people used to write to the newspapers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're right. The manifestos are just the people writing to the newspaper, or Donald Trump's tweets are him writing to the newspaper. Didn't he used to call into the radio too? And he was like Donnie from Queens or something.
Yeah, and he used to also call up magazines and tell them all kinds of stories that were probably not true. That way they would report him. You won't believe who Donald Trump's sleeping with. And then they would report it in the Inquirer or whatever.
There we go. See, I agree with Dustin. See, the Trump model is that he has a thought. He immediately hits social media thinking the people must know. See, I also have that, so I'm sympathetic to it. But the thing is that the people really do need to know all of my thoughts. Whereas they don't need to know Donald Trump's.
I limit it to the semi-private chats and Discord servers so that only a limited audience sees my thoughts.
All the people
probably
must
better that way.
know my brilliance. It's
and then you've got to accidentally, you're trying to private message your attorney general on Truth Social and then just accidentally publish it for everyone. It's go after my political opponents now.
See, that's a common boomer
Matthew Bondi.
That was his.
Why aren't you doing what I'm telling you to? I'm the president.
Okay, what's that reference, Kyle? Because you can't just say things. This is a news show. We have to tell people what's happening, not just make references to what happened.
If they wanted to know what was happening, they should have paid attention last week, where we explained it last week. Trump truthed, because I believe they call them truths on Truth Social, to Pam Bondi by mistake instead of sending an internal message telling her to get things done and potentially some illegal shit. Because Donald Trump is, in fact, fucking stupid.
Do we know that he actually wrote on Truth Social instead of sending her an email? Or I think he might have just written on Truth Social.
It was effectively like, Dear Pam, please do this for me, your friend Donald.
Well, right, but that's kind of how he writes his truths.
She wasn't like added, so
right. But
he loves
you're assuming that he's intelligent all of a sudden. You're assuming that he knows how to use social media all of a sudden.
He loves to at people, and he thinks it makes him cool, makes him hip.
Well, maybe he liked Pam, so he didn't want to at her because he thought that was an insult. I just don't. I don't entirely believe that he's smart enough to even try to make that an email instead of a tweet. Truth.
I mean, it's possible that he was trying to privately truth her, but instead publicly truthed her. I mean, I could believe this. It would surprise me zero to find out that Trump and his cabinet communicate exclusively through Truth Social. I mean, now that their Signal branch has, let them down, they had to go to something that they consider.
Signal group.
Yeah, they had to go to something that they consider secure, like the truth. The truth is secure.
It's not at all. Speaking of things that are not secure, James Wiley's ego after a new Colorado polls article appeared. This is from September 24th. That's yesterday, for those of you paying attention. Chainsaw Caucus launches wildly racist attack on local news site. That's right. Jim Wiley is at it again. On Monday, our friends at the Colorado Times Recorder put out a story detailing some decidedly non-mainstream views held by the Colorado Libertarian Party secretary and 2026 Secretary of State candidate James Wiley regarding the recent assassination of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, alleging and then apparently standing by under pressure his belief that Kirk was killed as the result of a conspiracy involving Israel. This came just after Colorado Republican... What?
That's not racism then. It's just religion.
Yes.
Clearly.
Anti-Semitism
is very different than racism.
This came just after Colorado Republican leaders, including the new House Minority Leader Jarvis Caldwell, publicly allied themselves with the Libertarian Party and their new joint Chainsaw Caucus, the new version of a partnership that began in the 2024 election cycle as Libertarians made deals with Republicans to avoid entering spoiler candidates in key races. Once again, this is the dumbest thing imaginable. The post-mortem effect happens post-mortem. That's the entire point. You implement the policies of your opponents after your opponents run and get votes. All right. In reporting on James Wiley's beliefs about Charlie Kirk's murder, reporter Eric Molbech at CTR requested comment from a number of Republican elected officials who signed up for the Chainsaw Caucus, including Minority Leader Caldwell, Representative Rebecca 3-Vote Becky Kelty, I don't know what that means, and Greeley's endangered Representative Ryan Gonzalez. Representative Kelty promised to get back to him after she spoke with Libertarian Party and Caucus Chair Hannah Goodman, along with the only Jewish member of the Republican Minority Caucus, Representative Ron Weinberg. While it doesn't look like any of those Republicans have commented yet, last night the Chainsaw Caucus upped the ante themselves with an attack on the news outlet who exposed them so outwardly racist our minds are more or less blown. That was a very convoluted sentence.
I'm still confused where the racism is.
Well, so I think we're gonna get it. The spoof site bills itself as a regressive news outlet focused on Middle Eastern politics and culture, and features fake stories from reporters with such names as Heidi Betelgeuse and Judah Blah. We're not sure about the latter, but the former seems to be a spoof of one of CTR's actual reporters. Despite the outwardly anti-Jewish references that litter the site, the Chainsaw Caucus makes no attempt to conceal their ownership, even listing the group's phone number on the homepage. So what's going on here, you ask? It's pretty simple. The libertarians who run today's Colorado Libertarian Party are just as out of the mainstream as they've always been. But now they're an important part of the Colorado Republican Party's comeback strategy, indeed. In addition to being unapologetically racist, these so-called libertarians, okay, first of all, this person has done so-called and then put libertarians in quotes. You pick one. It's either so-called libertarians, no quotes, or just libertarians in quotes.
You can't put, okay, if so-called, that's a double negative. You put so-called libertarians in quotes.
Yeah, thank you, exactly.
I'm sorry. Okay, look, I don't even like these people, and this is probably the weakest hit piece I've ever seen. Like don't make me fucking defend James Wiley.
These so-called libertarians apparently have no sense of shame and responded to the exposure of their racist opinions by doubling down on them. The best we can figure is they believe there will be no consequences and that their new Republican allies will dodge the obvious questions the situation raises until they inevitably subside. I do appreciate these authors like insinuating that these are not real libertarians.
I mean, they're not, because
in true
we're the
libertarian
only real
fashion.
libertarians, but
Rose is the only real libertarian here.
I'm the patron saint of real libertarians. Only I can decide who's a real libertarian.
So Rose, you're saying that you were on the cusp of defending Jim Wiley. Why?
Where's the racism? All I'm hearing is they criticized Israel, and mainstream Republicans are reading about it. And whoever wrote this article is reading about it, or no, it's Democrats or something who wrote this article who are reading about the fact that they have called out Israeli atrocities, and now they're trying to tie this to racism.
Well, most Israelis are Jews, and most Jews have common ancestry, so that would be the racism.
Right, but criticizing the state of Israel is not anti-Semitism.
But it doesn't look like it's criticizing the state of Israel if they're also calling the authors Heidi Betelgeuse and having spoofy Jewish names.
All right, that's crossing a line, probably. Yes.
I mean, it's stupid, right? Like I've heard much
stupid.
better but
it's like meme tier anti-Semitism.
Yes, it's JV anti-Semitism, but in addition to being gross, it makes the LP look terrible, and maybe another censure's in the cards because those work so well and make people so very happy. This is, however, all the more reason for Coloradans to get out to the fourth. It's the fourth LP Colorado convention of the year. The second one that has actually happened, where there's been a potential officer election. So for those of you who have not been keeping score at home, congratulations, you have lives. There was previously finally an officer election that was held in Colorado. There was a new executive committee that was elected. It was an allied-friendly executive committee, but Hannah Goodman and James Wiley are still doubling down on their convention. So we are still needing people. We're needing Coloradans to turn out to that convention.
Right. There's another convention that may or may not be the real one this time. Well,
yes.
Did they properly notice it in a newspaper that is in wide what was the phrase?
Newspaper of general circulation. They did, in fact, properly notice the convention that time.
So what's the argument for the most recent one where new officers were elected? Why are they trying to, what's their argument for why that one's not valid?
Their argument is that it wasn't properly noticed, and Hannah Goodman and James Wiley aren't happy about the results.
But also, yes, that's what it really is. But
Hannah Goodman and James Wiley, didn't turn out to that convention because by turning out, they would have seemed to have validated that convention. So they essentially threw it. So now they really need to win this one, which is why there needs to be a double victory here for the current slate. So there is that.
This is probably going to end up before the JC, I'm assuming.
I imagine it will end up before the JC.
We're going to have two different conventions, and they're going to want to challenge the most recent one, and it's going to be up to the JC which one was actually the real convention.
If they do censure, or even as this article, remember the manifesto that James Wiley put out the last time?
He wrote the manifesto. Oh my God! See, people write manifestos, Rose.
Manifesto, it made no sense, and he writes this thing out, sends it into the newspaper because they criticized him or something, or they criticized Hannah, and so he just writes this, no one's going to read that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So he'll do that. He'll do that again. He'll do that.
Yeah, they made it into the news before because of their memes.
I think that was because
also because of an email or the way they responded to someone who asked them for comments.
Yes.
Yeah. Great look.
That was Hannah Goodman that time, to be fair. So they do tag teams on.
I always get those two confused.
They're very similar They kind of
Except
remind
one
me.
is dresses up like Pepe the King Prawn. But other than that, I mean, they
you'll
don't
never
look
know.
similar,
You can't
but
tell which one it is that dresses up like Pepe.
They remind me of. Did anyone see the cartoon Pinocchio? That has like they're the two guys who take Pinocchio off to Pleasure Island. They're like the two. I think they're cats. I only saw this movie once. My father called them Skeezix and Wizzix, and I don't know why. So they remind me of Skeezix and Wizzix from Pinocchio. This
Is that
is
the
why
island where they all get turned into donkeys?
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Right.
Very good, Rose. This is why we desperately need to see a Libertarian Party that takes itself seriously. For all of the whining about how the LP is fake and gay and just a social club and doesn't take itself seriously, the greatest critics who most routinely bandy this accusation about are also the ones who most routinely do the stupidest things that make us look immature and sophomoric. And like we don't know how to even mount a political offense. It's upsetting to me. But yes, what do we think? Another censure in the works for LP Colorado because the LNC seems to be galvanized by censures of late.
Yeah, they need a good talking to and a good finger wagging, I think. And possibly a better affiliate, but that's
That's
not happening anytime soon.
Well, we do have. I mean, like the current XCOM that was elected in August is indeed a good XCOM. And
the XCOM that may or may not be the XCOM, but we'll see. We'll see what the JC has to say about it.
The once and possibly future XCOM. Alexa asked, didn't LP Colorado post something blatantly anti-Semitic with no mention of Israel at least one other time? Yes, they did. They posted some Happy Merchant memes. Oh, they posted the meme about initial slave traders being Jewish, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought that was that the one that they got interviewed about, or that they had a reporter reach out to them about, or were those separate things? And they've
it's terrible, Rose, that I can tell you I honestly can't. I don't remember. There could have been multiple incidents, but there was at least that one.
Yeah,
so
that one I remember.
And Jake, why are you not cowering in fear from Austin Martin since he's been threatening you?
Well, I think he's a
very intimidating guy.
Yeah, he's going to come and he's going to play the ukulele at me, and I don't know if I'll be able to handle that. I mean, he had to beg for money from the state party, which him and his wife run, to be able to get to the last LNC meeting to get reimbursement for it. I live pretty far away from him. I don't. It's a threat. People that generally are going to create violence or do violence don't generally make threats. And he also refuses to say exactly what that threat is. What type of removal are you going to do? It's a tactic. It's a tactic, and we know exactly what it is. It's a tactic by him because he wants other people not to participate, not to criticize what he's doing, not to criticize what Angela's doing, and they think we'll just shut up and go away if they play this game. That doesn't work with me. It doesn't work with a lot of people.
Right. He may not be threatening violence himself, but by doing what he's doing, it's opening up other members of the Libertarian Party to things like doxing and harassment and threats by people who are not him.
It has no place in the party, and it has no place on the board. And I certainly understand if people, take it seriously. He hasn't directly came out and said violence, but he has said forcibly remove. I mean, that's a violent action, right? No, I'm not.
Right. And he was endorsing some tweets that were questionable. Like he was leaning on potentially saying that he endorsed violence without saying it outright. So yeah. All in all, yes, this kind of behavior is not what a professional organization should be tolerating.
It's laughable. It's the saddest part is in New Mexico, the party was going to sue to get on the ballot in New Mexico. The attorney Oliver Hall was going to take this on pro bono, but because Andrew Chatterton and Austin Martin have harassed him so many times, he's not doing free work for the party.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm unhappy that it's true, but I am glad that you brought it up. So yes, Oliver Hall, who was had the LNC as a client for many years, done pro bono work for them for many years, has now said no more. because there are too many concerns over liability-related action from Andrew Chatterton and Austin Martin. So it is possible that Oliver Hall will just be walking away entirely. It is very difficult to get pro bono legal work, especially from a good lawyer. So,
but it's everyone else. It's everyone else who is undermining the party and preventing it from being effective, right?
Yeah. You all are the feds.
Yeah.
You all are the feds. Jake, I actually hear that you're
we're the reason why this party is not taken seriously and not getting anything done.
I hear, though, Jake, that you are a DNC operative, so I'm not really sure
DNC
about
operative
and a
as
Fed
well.
and a leftist.
A socialist, Antifa. I think Antifa was one thing you threw out there. They don't all make sense. They don't all flow together. But I have multiple personalities. I have multiple jobs, multiple personas. I might, go work for the deep state one day and the DNC the next, and might be in an Antifa rally somewhere later on in the week.
You're also far right, though. You're far right. Don't forget.
I am, according to some people.
We're still a front for something much further right than the Mises Caucus.
And I've accepted money from the Koch brothers.
There we go.
And your Sarwark.
Yes.
But, we all are.
It's complex. We all have very complex personalities that don't quite fit, but.
And Jake, this came as a result. Did it initially because, again, I was offline the past couple of days, and then I was also traveling last week. So this came as a result of you discovering some things, or you were talking about how you were going to break some stuff. What happened? What was the root of the accusation?
No, I think it was actually something that may have been Jeremiah Harding had said. I don't remember where it actually came from exactly. It was something not related, and then he went on. But I don't even think I had engaged him in anything whenever he came after me, calling me a leftist. That was what he always does. Anytime you criticize Angela McArdle, you're a leftist, even though, she's the one who worked with far left Robert Kennedy Jr., right? But anytime you criticize anything they've done, they can take money from leftists like Robert Kennedy, and they're fine. You so much as point that out, and then you're the leftist, you're the progressive.
Right. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, I think I was in that thread somewhere. Yeah, that was fun.
I was just making sure that I didn't miss anything, because occasionally you do have scoops, and I never want to miss a Jake Porter scoop. But
no, there was a story though that I did tell about how he has accepted, or how he took the money to travel to the next game, and it's not necessarily I don't think there's anything illegal about doing it. I don't know the FEC rules that much. I didn't claim it was a scandal. I just put out the information. I think it's important that people know where their money is going, how their committees are spending their money. And I think it's important that delegates know. We do have an issue that Angela McArdle is trying to take back the National Committee after resigning after her embezzlement. She's still the money's obviously flowed through for the Joint Fundraising Committee, but she's still benefiting from that. The Mises PAC still has money coming in from that. So the state parties have money, including Hawaii, so that way they can fly Austin Martin around there to run defense for Angela McArdle. She's got her own PAC that received money from this, and it's paying for her to travel around the country. So the Libertarian Party Joint Fundraising Committee that she set up is still helping them retake back the party after she had to resign because of her actions.
Oh, but that was just a coup carried out by radical leftists. She was forced to resign.
Even though she told the court that she voluntarily resigned. So, I think Mr. Martin needs to realize that there are consequences to this, and somebody could contact the judge in that DC court and say, oh.
John, by the way, I sent you a link just now in Discord, so check your Discord DMs. Sorry, Jake, go on.
Yeah, it's one of those things. What really happened? We've heard so many different stories about why she resigned. Now, do I think she was forced to resign? Yeah, they were going to investigate her. They were going to remove her. They were fed up with what she was doing. She was forced to resign with that. It was voluntarily, in that she voluntarily resigned to avoid having the investigation done and having to answer questions, which they didn't. They've put out fact sheets that don't really address it, like, oh, he probably lost money on this. He did so cost. I don't believe any of that. Who starts a business? And one of the things that Austin Martin went after me, he said that, oh, you're going after businesses here. Freedom Calls was not a business. No one starts a business. No one starts a business with the goal of losing money or breaking even. That's not a business.
We are joined, by the way,
formed just to serve the LP, clearly.
We are joined right now by John Ponte of the Liberty Sentries. John, thank you for being here when Kyle could not be. I appreciate you taking over for Kyle so that I don't have to deal with him. How are you doing this evening?
No more disembodied Kyle voice.
Yay. Make sure that I can hear you here. Add. Okay, we got you now? No?
Yeah, sorry.
You were good. Dustin says she was forced in the same manner Nixon was. We're only one I'm not a crook away from a 1-for-1 comparison. That is tragically true. John, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I've been busy, but I've been doing well. So we were I believe we were talking about Angela McArdle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just a quick thing to add on to that. I believe Jake was mentioning, issues in regards to the Roos appeal, like
mm-hmm.
how there's like a lot of issues there. I had noted down in an amicus that I had made in regards to that appeal, there are a good amount of false statements made in the appeal offered by Hector Roos, as well as a lot of misrepresentations of the information in regards to that. One of them, if we're going to talk about Angela McArdle, had to deal with swing vote strategist. Roos tried to make it so that the only seeming evidence for McArdle's involvement with swing vote strategist, or connection, not involvement, but connection with swing vote strategist, was in regards to the incorporation documents that Jake was able to obtain, showing that Austin Padgett was the incorporator of swing vote strategist. That's a very important piece of evidence, but it's not the only evidence. Another piece of evidence is in regards to Libertarian Unity, which we know is Angela McArdle's political action committee, has the same address for swing vote strategist according to FEC records, and according to payments made by Libertarian Unity to Angela McArdle herself, Angela McArdle is using the same address as Libertarian Unity as swing vote strategist. So there's more connections in regards to that, where even if we didn't have the incorporation documents, so the incorporation documents were very helpful, we have that connecting thread. It's enough to sort of scratch your head a bit, especially when it comes to Angela, McArdle's PR response attempt, which I guess, Jake, if you want to go more into that, since you were the main one that was able to criticize that in your amicus regarding the case.
Well, I just find it kind of funny that she puts out this PR thing, which is no one else has seen, or that I hadn't seen until Hector threw that in his 500 or whatever page exhibits. But it goes through there, and it just throws out, some accusations. Oh, maybe we should have given better disclosure, but we didn't make money off this, or he didn't make money off this, or he probably didn't. And when the taxes get filed in October, he'll probably be a loss. And somehow that makes it okay. And of course, it's not believable at all.
It's a loss for the LP too, then. So, yeah.
So, yeah, if your fraud does not generate money.
And then she goes on to things like the rescue.
No harm, no foul.
And some things I didn't mention in the amicus, but she goes on to other things like Rescue the West organization. She claims that 501c4 that she founded was supposed to be a membership funnel to the Libertarian Party. Well, one, a 501c4 cannot coordinate with a political party. Two, even if that was the case, that is part of her scheme to get MAHA people, not libertarians, into the Libertarian Party, so that way they could have Robert Kennedy and Nicole Shannon. That whole goal was to get one of them the nomination in 2028. That way they could continue this grifting scheme. It's been leaked to me by several people. Their entire goal, and I'm telling everyone this, is to get Robert Kennedy and the MAHA people to take over the Libertarian Party, because they think they can continue a joint fundraising committee again, and that they'll get more money in there. That way they can take.
So
It's a giant grifting scheme.
So that's my question. Is it purely a money-making scheme from what you've heard, from what sources are telling you? Or is there some kind of ideological defense here?
No, they're not ideologically defined. I mean, Angela hates vaccines, believes a whole bunch of wild conspiracies in German new medicine, everything else that Kennedy might believe. Who knows how she believes about Tylenol? She probably didn't want to take it either. She also believes chemtrails are over her house. Maybe Robert Kennedy believes in that. I think he probably does. So there's probably a conspiracy bent with that they ultimately have some alliance in. But no, there's no ideologically compatibility with the Mises Caucus, who tend to be, with the exception of cultural issues, tend to be fairly radical on economic issues. Robert Kennedy is not. Robert Kennedy's not radical on guns.
I'm old enough to remember when the Mises Caucus were completely opposed to the Libertarians for RFK people.
Well, you were part of that.
Yeah, we did not want them associating with us.
Now, to be fair, most of those Mises people probably are still opposed to it. Yeah, they just left the Mises Caucus.
Precisely. They either left or they were excommunicated. Imagine what a rug pull that was when suddenly they start fundraising for him or laundering money through the LP to his campaign.
And you were still part of Mises when that happened, right? Was that just sort of like you thought that okay, that's kind of weird splinter Mises group, or?
Well, so okay, as of spring 2024, when the LPNY had their nominating convention, it was like we were thoroughly opposed to the Libertarians for RFK people. There was a small group of the LPNY that were Libertarians for RFK. We all made fun of them. All of a sudden, so I remember it was like this huge scandal when we found out that Larry Sharpe was getting money from RFK. What was it, like the We the People or whatever?
Mm-hmm. The American Values PAC.
American Values PAC.
$15,000 a month, yeah.
Like that was a big deal because he was also our placeholder candidate until we had an actual LP nominee, because we don't have ballot access. We have to elect a placeholder candidate so that people can go out and petition, and then they step down and endorse the actual candidate. It's this whole big thing. Like, that was a big deal. We found out that there was a conflict of interest because Larry Sharpe had ties to RFK. Like, we did not want anything to do with RFK. Mm-hmm. So then when the whole thing with Colorado happened, at first I'm like, oh, this couldn't possibly have been the Mises Caucus. Like, we've been fairly solid on at least being anti this weird alliance with RFK. Yeah, that came as quite a surprise.
But of course, it shouldn't come as a surprise now that I've had a couple sources leaked to me, good quality sources. I've checked it out, that both a former presidential candidate, not the nominee, former presidential candidate and an LP contractor or staffer were paid to get signups through the American Values PAC. Not paid by Team Kennedy, but probably paid through the American Values PAC or another Kennedy-based organization to get signups for affiliates to sign up to the Joint Fundraising Committee. And that might make things a little bit clearer of how the Mises Caucus decided that it was a good idea to align with Robert Kennedy.
I have to say,
people are easily bought, yes.
This is disappointing to me because I love ideological warfare. And I really just wish that there was some kind of ideological reason for this. Like, I wish that there was, I could develop a theory of mind around this. Like, I'm defending the party. I'm doing what's right for the nation. No, it's just all a grifting scheme, and that upsets me. And I remember discovering this, like, when actually, Jake, it was you, almost a year ago, in December, you broke some of this for the first time. I remember being very upset because I remember thinking, I thought there was actually a theory of mind here. And the theory of mind instead apparently was just, I would like some money, please.
Now, I think some of the people probably got involved in it with the thought that they weren't necessarily expecting to make money. There was that whole thing with Pat Ford that came up that supposedly afterwards that he adds his nonprofit, this PAC that pays out his nonprofit. I don't know. It's still a conflict of interest, still a bad look. I can't judge people's motives. I can speculate. I can have opinions about it, but I don't know what's in someone's heart.
He has enough overlap with us, and my organization is getting funded. I think like how Karen and Carlos is going to get removed anyway, so who cares if I take this $1,000 bribe and put it towards a good cause on the day that I vote yes to remove her?
John,
I think in regards to the ideology, I think there is an ideological factor in play. However, I wouldn't say it's a factor in regards to mind, because mind requires some sort of reason to it.
Or at least, yeah.
Reason, I say reason like that in regards to something that has a bit more logical consistency, something that has like a higher cause to it.
Mhm.
I'm not wholly sure. I look at it through the eyes of the kind of ideology that McArdle, that the Maha, that in regards to RFK Jr., in regards to Trump, in regards to all of that, the kind of ideology that they have is one that is incrementally leading towards some kind of fascism in the end. And that's probably something maybe a little bit unpopular in regards to the Libertarian Party with whether we were going to call anyone fascist. I think the general term is more socialist as a popular form of insult within the Libertarian Party. But when it comes to fascism, I think we do have to be careful, because the specific ideology is one that the rationale, the like raison d'être, or raison d'être, or whatever the French pronunciation of it is, power first and foremost. Whether that's going to be personal power for a certain individual like McArdle, whether that's going to be just, or if it's personal power for Trump or for Kennedy, or if it's going to be like a certain personal power for a certain set of like values that aren't necessarily logically consistent. The main point is seek and gain power. That's why even with the Mises Caucus, when you supposedly have these radicals for decentralization, the board wanted to have the Libertarian National Committee more centralized, less ability to challenge it through like minority challenge, and have it so it's decreased and make, like, if I can remember exactly, they wanted to remove region reps. The reason why is because the region reps were not in control of them. If they were to take the board and try to implement their agenda, they wouldn't be able to control the region reps or, like, you know, discipline them as they could someone like Karen Ann Harlos, who was a national officer. When it comes to cumulative voting, they opposed cumulative voting because they said a majority wins, period. They wanted to win. They wanted power. That is the ideology behind it. The ideology is power first and foremost.
I think, though, they would not define it as such, right? They might define it as power. That's the means to the end of getting what we need to have happen, even in order to have political influence, right, and political relevance.
Even if you start out well-intentioned, it is so easy to rationalize having to grab more power for yourself. Like, you're put into a position, you think you're doing a great job, you think you're this super principled person, and you're like, eventually you get the idea into your head that, hey, I'm the only one that knows how to do this correctly, okay? I'm doing a great job, I'm taking this organization in the right direction. Someone else votes, like if I get voted out and someone else takes my position, they're not going to be able to do nearly as great of a job as me, okay? I need to protect this organization so that we can continue doing what we're doing by ensuring that nobody can replace me. People, it's the temptation to abuse powers to ensure that you maintain your position and can continue doing what you think is the right thing is like there's a lot of temptation. It's very hard to resist. Like, I can fully understand how that happens.
Rose, I watched this documentary the other day. It was about Saddam Hussein. Make sure you stay in power. Make sure no one can replace you. Kick them out if they get too close to the power. And always demand that people tell you the best news no matter how bad things are going.
Right. Like, some people, I'm sure there are people who joined because they had an agenda and like they weren't acting in good faith from the beginning. But I think a lot of people did join who initially were well-intentioned, but people are easily corrupted, and they don't see it as being corrupted, though. They think that they are doing the right thing, but they think that it's justified when they abuse power, but not justified when other people do it.
And I mean, full disclosure, I favor eliminating region reps too. I think regions are gerrymandered to all get out, and they're incredibly exploitable.
Well, you want more decentralization.
I want more. Though. Yes. Well, I want distribution, right? So yes. I want there to be an LNC, but I want it to be a distributed LNC where people from, who are elected by at state conventions for the most part are able to serve.
Oh,
The
also,
last thing this party needs is an
go ahead.
LNC.
yeah,
See,
maybe that's the problem.
We know, because we do need coordination. We do actually need something to cohere us at the national level, because that is where attention is directed. But believe me, the way that the LNC is structured now is engineered, perhaps not wittingly, but to get us, no results whatsoever.
I would just like to point out that we were not talking about McArdle potentially having anything to do with the plan by the LP of Colorado to put RFK on their ballot, but there is now an official denial by JJ. And,
I wondered if I missed that. I was like, were we talking about that? Did I just glaze over?
We all know what kind of relationship JJ has with the truth, so take from that what you will, everybody.
Well, I mean, McArdle didn't exactly tell people her plans. I'm sure she didn't tell JJ her plans about freedom calls. I'm sure she didn't tell people about her meeting with Donald Trump either in November of 2023. McArdle doesn't always tell people.
Meeting with Donald Trump's table.
She spent her Christmas money to travel to Mar-a-Lago to meet with him.
Yeah, the Christmas money they got from Freedom Calls LLC and the joint fundraising committee later on, all that money eventually paid off. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Indeed.
Speaking of McArdle, I want to just quickly go back to the whole thing where the ideology is power. I think in regards to what they justify it as, perhaps, yes, I think there are certain justifications said publicly in regards to what they're trying to do, that they want to get the party better. I honestly I don't believe it. And I don't know if maybe that's just cynical for me, but I'm seeing where a lot of these kind of movements, even like seeming radical movements, there is an issue where power is sought out and power becomes the means and the ends. And when power becomes the means and the ends, that's when slowly but surely we go towards a fascistic state. We go towards a fascistic society that worships power and either wishes to become that power and be the boot pressing on people's necks, or worships that power, submits to that power. And with McArdle, she has her own kinds of egocentrism. I think, Jake, you told me a little bit about how she went on a bit, how you think she might, I don't know if you said this more ironically, ironically, sarcastically, where she might be trying to make her own cult.
Oh, the religious cult. Yeah, no, the way she talks about religion, I definitely think there's a religious element.
I give it about a month before she starts saying she's getting. Yeah,
she has learned from cult methodology.
Yeah, I was gonna say I give it like a month before she starts saying that she's getting messages directly from God, considering she's already in the.
She already gets messages directly from Donald Trump, close to God, right? Some people think he's God.
Everyone, it has been lovely speaking with you all. And John, thank you for stepping up and filling in. You're making such a better Kyle. I have to tell you, you are so much better than Kyle in every way. And he can do nothing about my saying this right now.
This is a coup. This is a plot to get rid of
Thank
Kyle.
you for helping us coup Kyle, John. And seriously, thank you for being on. Everyone, please, it means so much. If you want to get involved, go to our LP Alliance Discord. That link is on LP_allies on our X page, and submit to the Torch. You write for us there. I'm always taking submissions, either that's in my DMs or my DMs on Discord. You can get me on X as well at Ajax the Griff. And as always, you can donate to R527. Again, our movement will always be stronger because of you. Until next week, we are the Business List.
We're gonna say anarchy, and we're gonna say anarchy. Full transparency now on. on the business list.